Alright, so it is about the time to start making my new Legends stage picks. It starts tomorrow, so hopefully this video gets out in time. Um, we've seen in the last stage, North did not go 3-0. They actually got knocked out. I'm not a big fan of them, and as soon as they lost that first match, I was just like, good. I don't care if they move on. I don't like them. Virtus Pro 03, not unexpected there. Unexpected was Optic Gaming. I was really expecting them to do much better than what they did. They struggled against Vega Squadron quite a bit. They struggled against Tyloo. These teams that they on paper should be beating, but just aren't. Another upset of mine was Renegades, pretty much bombing out of this stage. After IEM Sydney, everyone was expecting them to start picking up their slack, and just didn't happen, so that's quite unfortunate. Tyloo made it through. That was kind of expected from me. A little bit turbulent, to say the least. Big also a little bit on the turbulent side, but they also made it through. Team Liquid made it 3-0, so that was nice to see from them. NIP also made it 3-0, so that was quite a shock. You know, they beat out Australis to make it to the new Legend stage, so that was pretty cool. And Australis made it through 3-1. So that's just kind of a quick recap. I made 6 points, not bad. Let's just check the leaderboard, see where I'm at. Cool, I'm in the top 1%. That's nice. Okay, yeah, nice. Top 1%. I like that. Alright, so now it's time to make my group stage picks. So, I'm going to keep this 3-0 open in the air. First, I'm going to do the 0-3. To be completely honest with you, Windstrike, they had no business being in the top 8 last major, if we're being completely honest with you. Pretty sure everyone unanimously agrees that they just didn't belong there. So I'm just going to slap them in the 0-3. I think any other possible contenders for 0-3 could maybe be Cloud9 or Complexity. If I were to pick one of the two, I'd pick Complexity. But because I'm so confident in Windstrike going 0-3, I think that they deserve my pick for 0-3. Now, to fill out this part, I'm actually going to do this in my most confident to least confident. So my most confident that I think is going to make it out is FaZe Clan. They're looking really good. Their first matchup is against, let's see here, that's not what I wanted to read. Big, so yeah, they're off to a good start already. I think they can beat Big. Big has shown quite a bit of promise at Cologne. They struggled a little bit in the Challenger stage, but they're here. Next up, I'm going to pick Made in Brazil. I think that they had a turbulent start as well when they picked up Stewie and then Tarek. But now that they have Yanko as their coach, I think he's going to really bring something new to this table. He already has, since they've won the Zotac Cup. So I might even put them as a contender to be 3-0, but we'll just keep this up in the air. Next up is Navi. They are also a huge contender to win it all. I think they're ranked number 2 in HLTV's top teams. Number 1 being Australis, number 2 Liquid, and so on and so on. Speaking of Australis, they're going to be my next pick. I'm fairly confident that they'll make it to the top 8. Unlike at E-League, which I think was just a poor showing by them. It's just uncharacteristic even. Next up, I'm going to pick Mouse Sports. I think Mouse Sports is the one of the more consistent teams here. With the addition of Snacks, I think he really brings a lot to the table. He's an experienced veteran. He brings all the firepower that lineup needs to already rival FaZe. I mean, even with Stico, they were always neck and neck with FaZe as far as best of 3s and even best of 5s. This is evident by Star Ladder, evident by, I can't remember any other matches. They played a damn close best of 3 at the E-League Major to FaZe, where Sunny infamously killed himself, which allowed Nico to win out the 1 versus 3, I think, to bring them into overtime on Nuke in the third map, maybe second map. But yeah, they're just one of those teams that's just consistently good, always getting high rankings. Um, so I'm going to say Liquid. No, I might save them for 3-0 to be honest with you. So I'm going to say NIP over Fnatic because on paper Fnatic is going to make the quarterfinals. They've been in every single quarterfinals of every single Counter-Strike major. Recently, they haven't really shown any signs of slowing down. However, with the removal of Golden as their IGL, they picked up. Who did they pick up? They picked up Exist, who's also a seasoned veteran of Counter-Strike, but they also picked up Draken, who was infamously one of the players who was kind of holding back NIP these past couple of years. Um, so I think for that reason, I'm not going to pick Fnatic, as I think Draken might kind of hold them down. NIP I'm going to pick instead as the Swedish quarterfinalist. NIP is looking incredibly good. They went 3-0, beating Astralis in a best of three. I really think that they're off to a good start, especially with the DreamHack Masters Stockholm result that they had, making it to the semifinals. I really think that they are a huge contender to at least make it to semis here at the major. Next up, realistically, I think this next slot should go to Fnatic. However, I'm a G2 fan, so I'm picking them. I actually have this article pulled up over here saying from Smith saying that they aren't completely ready for the major. They said that they're 60 to 65% ready or something along those lines. But I'm just a G2 fan. I have to pick them. I just need to support them. However, for your guys' sake, what I would say a safe bet would be Big. I think that they are a really good team. They're really starting to break through again. I think that they have everything that it takes to make it to the next stage, even despite Smuya saying that they're going to get knocked out. If not Big, I think Vega Squadron could potentially be another team to make it. Clearly able to beat most of these teams in a best of three, and by most I mean they can beat Cloud9, Windstrike, Fnatic, Hellraiser's Complexity, maybe even Tyloo. So I think if they make a somewhat deep run in this little group stage, they can potentially make it to the quarterfinals. I don't think Hellraisers is going to make it. They are looking good, but not quite up to par with the likes of FaZe, Navi, Made in Brazil. I also don't think Cloud9 is going to make it. I hope that they make it deep, at least to the 2-3 part of the group stage. But I don't think they have what it takes to make it to the quarterfinals. I've already explained why I don't think Fnatic can make it. Team Liquid, I think I'm going to pick as my 3-0, but I'll go over that in just a moment. Big, again, I'm picking G2 over them because G2 is my favorite team. Vega Squadron, I think they have what it takes, but not quite it. I do think G2 can beat them in a best of three, but who knows? It's up in the air. G2 hasn't played at a LAN in a little while. So we can't really gauge them on where they are at. And Tyloo, as good of a Tyloo team is, I don't think they can necessarily beat any of these larger teams in a best of three, simply because despite having the firepower necessary, they lack the communication in the sense that their team is split into speaking two languages, Indonesian and Chinese, because that's just how their team is. Bentet and Excurate are Indonesian. Captain Mo, Didi, and their fifth player, I can't remember his name, are Chinese. So there's that language barrier, and there's constantly translation that has to go through. So I don't think that's. I think that's a bit of a hindrance to them making the top 8. But on towards Cloud9, or not Cloud9, sorry, Team Liquid going 3-0. Their first matchup is, let's see here, yeah, versus Windstrike. I mean, polar opposites on this spectrum right here. I do believe that they can beat all of these teams in a best of one, and if it comes down to it, I think they can, because there's two teams that'll make it out 3-0. So I think it's going to be FaZe Clan or Liquid, but FaZe Clan I think has that potential to possibly choke the first or second match, especially the first match against Big, because if they underestimate Big, which they have a tendency to do as far as matches, they like to underestimate teams. Big can really surprise them and beat them. So I would say they are the biggest contender for 3-0 as well, but there's still that factor that Big could potentially upset. Which is why I'm picking Team Liquid to go 3-0 because they always go into each match respecting their opponent, understanding that they can lose to them, and I really think that they can beat almost any of these teams in a best of one or a best of three. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much my pick. I'm gonna update these picks. Oh, you know what? They don't need to because I already had them like this before. Um, yeah, that's just my overview of the new group stage. Um, so hopefully you guys can kind of take into consideration everything that I've talked about. Hopefully you guys do well in your pick'ems. Hopefully you can get to top 1% just like me. You know what I'm saying? And I wish you guys all the best of luck with this pick.